Little did Sir John Franklin know, this day in 1845 would be written into two histories, the official logs of the Admiralty and a darker, stranger account that would surface a century and a half later. Franklin sailed from Greenhithe on HMS Erebus and HMS Terror with 128 souls, bound for Lancaster Sound and the elusive Northwest Passage. The mission was ordinary in its ambition and extraordinary in what it meant. Contemporary Admiralty records speak of ice, scurvy, and miscalculation. Inuit testimony collected by John Ray in 1854 mentions the abandoned camps and the last, desperate footprints toward King William Island. These sources, however, omit a set of passages later found sewn into a pocket of Captain Francis Crozier's coat, a fragmental diary never catalogued in public archives until declassification in 2019. The fragment describes, with a trembling clarity, an apparition of geometry on the sea ice. On a night when the aurora burned like spilled paint, Crozier wrote of a column rising beyond the floes, a vertical plane of glass and light that hummed at frequencies the compasses could not register. Men on watch reported mechanical whistling in the hulls and chronometers stuttering 37 seconds forward, then back again. James Fitzjames, the charismatic commander on Erebus, recorded that his sextant swung uselessly and the stars themselves seemed to stitch and unstitch the familiar constellations. They were, he wrote, beside a thing that makes time thin. Inuit witnesses spoke of a shining house that appeared and vanished, of sailors who returned to their tents speaking no human words. Ray's interviews, compiled at the time, were blunt, focusing on survival and the evidence of starvation. He did not, or would not, press for the other details. The English press, Lady Jane Franklin's tireless inquiries, and later searches by Omni and McClintock would concentrate on bodies, bones and routes. The glass tower, if that is what Crozier had seen, slipped from public sight into rumor. Why? The fragmentary logs that surfaced centuries later suggest a reason: technology. Crozier's notes include drawings of latticework etched with numbers and strange glyphs, and an object recovered from the flow, a triangular shard of metal that resisted rust and whose surface refracted not light but what Crozier called memory. Men who touched it reported visions of cities not yet built and fields they had not walked. The shard's photographs, submitted anonymously to a London scientific journal in 1857 and dismissed as hoax, were placed in a private cabinet by an unnamed official of the Admiralty. The official file, now stamped as ADM 1845 feet, indicates an instruction: contain, do not alarm. Throughout the 20th century the tale gathered embellishment. Explorers in 1903 and 1930 reported unusual magnetic readings near Erebus and Terror's last known positions. During the Second World War, signals intelligence intercepted a coded message from a whaling station: glass tower flickers. The note was filed under curiosities. In 2014 and 2016 Parks Canada located the wrecks of Erebus and Terror on the seabed near King William Island. Sonar images showed anomalies, straight edges, right angles, a geometry unnatural to ship timbers. Marine archaeologists recovered a corroded shard from Erebus's cabin floor. Laboratory analysis in 2018 produced a baffling result: the shard's alloy-bore isotopic ratios inconsistent with known metallurgy of the period and microstrata resembling fused silica not found in British smelting works. Embedded at one corner, a tiny drill mark, like a maker's signature, which under magnification resolved into numerals counting backward. Was it an experimental instrument planted by a rival nation? A natural quirk of ice and light misread by desperate men? Or something else, an encounter between 19th-century exploration and a phenomenon that folded time into a column of glass? Historians have argued scholarship and skeptics have dismissed the shard as contamination or forgery. Yet the combination of Crozier's fragment, Inuit testimony, later sonar geometry and the anomalous metal form a chain of evidence that refuses to lie down. The narrative that emerges is not tidy. It is of men in naval coats, of Lady Jane's grief, of John Ray's pragmatic reports, and of a northern night that offered up a thing that interfered with compasses and calendars. It is a piece of history where human ambition met an order of reality the Victorian mind could not frame. Whether the glass tower was a natural polar phenomenon, a buried machine from a future yet to be, or an artifact of human technology mislaid in ice, it altered the course of those aboard Erebus and Terror. The Arctic keeps its secrets. Still, every summer, polar nights coax anglers and sonar teams to the same coordinates. Modern instruments hum where chronometers once stuttered, and occasionally a camera will catch a flicker, a straight line too clean for ice, a shard-shaped mirror that is not quite reflection. The world calls it legend. The archives call it ADM 1845 feet. The Arctic remembers the men who vanished beside the glass. History keeps the rest as a question. What happens when exploration meets the impossible and the map, at last, must be redrawn?